What's going on, you guys? What is going on? What is going on, you guys? This be your boy Scotty by Nature TV, and we're here for a brand new episode of Yes for the Mess, where we talk about celebrity gossip, hot topics, and all things reality TV based. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and I intend on doing the exact same thing, you guys. What's the deal? All right. We're here to have like a little bit of like a deep dive conversation. Like it ain't nothing that's dealing with the blogs. It's just some little stuff that we're talking about on the show. And we keep seeing the same old thing being talked about on social media. Like, if you on Twitter and you're in Housewives Twitter, then you already know that everybody been talking about the same old thing, same old thing. Like I just want my timeline back. I just want my timeline back. All I see is K Michelle, K Michelle, K Michelle, Drew, Portia, K Michelle. That's all I see on my timeline. And I was like, you know what? I want to do a video where we break this whole thing down. We talk about this entire thing, talk about the possibilities, talk about if there is a possibility, like talk about like different things in regards to this quote unquote plot that we've been talking about all season. So that's what I wanted to do today. Um but y'all know we're gonna get started at the 5 minute mark, and I see that Aaliyah Brittany is my only moderator that's up in here right now. So I appreciate you being here. The Scotty gang is in the building. It's 41, 44 you guys up in here so far. Let me see, because I got a goal here, you guys, and I really need for you guys to help me with this goal. Now let me pull this up on the interim, because I ain't gonna put it on the screen, but I'm gonna put it up here. So I am very close to 59K, y'all. I got 103 subscribers. I need 103 more subscribers to get to 59K. That is really all I need. And I'm really going to be pushing for that 59K for the rest of the month. And then once I hit that 59K, we're going to be pushing for 60. I need that 60 before this year is over with. That's really what this goal is this year, is to hit that 60. Okay. What is the T? Okay. Now we're gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get started at the 5 minute mark. But I hope you guys are sharing this video, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just share it wherever you at. Share it on the message board. Do whatever, because we need to get these. We need to get this engagement up. We need to get these subscribers up and get these little numbers up in a little bit. Okay. Because we're gonna talk about some things, and this is very unbiased conversation. Okay, I'm just gonna be giving you guys the tidbits of everything, and I don't see this live being that long. It's probably gonna be between maybe 45 minutes. I foresee it be 45 minutes. I don't really see it being no more than 45 minutes. And I think I have another live that I'm gonna do today, and then there's gonna be a pre-record later on. And plus, I got to get fitted for my suit for the Starry Awards, child. So yeah, but we're at the 4 minute mark. So I see two moderators in here. I see Gabby. What's up, Gabby? And I see Aaliyah Brittany. So y'all already know what to do as moderators. Make sure that the chat is clean. Make sure that everybody is engaging, and make sure that everybody is leaving those fire emojis in the chat as we get ready to hit the 5 minute mark. So go ahead and light this chat up with nothing but fire emojis as we get ready to get into today's show. I should have got me some more lemonade before this damn shit started. But yes, y'all, let's go ahead and light this chat up. Light it up right now. It's 61 of you guys up in here, which means we need to have 61 people in this chat engaging. 3, 2, 1. All right. So it is time for us to get into the things of the things, and we got something to talk about. So today's topic of Yes for the Mess is, was K Michelle targeted by the cast? Let's talk about it, okay? And I'm pretty sure that everybody got some opinions. Everybody got some things to say about this whole fiasco. I got some things to say about this whole fiasco, but if you've been watching my reviews and if you've been watching the panel, then you already know where I stand with this particular situation, and you do understand, and you also know where I stand in regards to everybody here that's in this thumbnail. Now, the person that's allegedly being targeted is the one, K Michelle. She was previously on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop New York, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And she also did Marriage Boot Camp. We already know who she is, but she is the one that is quote unquote being plotted on. Everybody knows that I'm a big fan of K Michelle's music. Been a big fan of K Michelle since 2009 when she first came out with her What's the 901 mixtape. Okay, before the masses knew who she was, I was bumping her music in 2009. So that's how long I've been with K Michelle. She followed me on Twitter in 2010. I met her in 2014, met her again in 2016. I've spoken to K Michelle on the phone before. She follows me on social media, all of those different things. Okay. So that is where I stand with K Michelle. So we already know how I feel about K Michelle. Drew Sidora. I love Drew Sidora. I've always felt like people come on this show just to beef with Drew and just to pick a fight because she's long hanging fruit. I also feel like she's been the one carrying Real Housewives of Atlanta for a long time. She is probably one of the only people in recent years that was a newbie that stayed for a long period of time. The only people on Real Housewives of Atlanta that were newbies that were able to stay around for the long run was Kenya and Portia. There have been plenty of other newbies that did not stick around. You had Shamori, she only stayed for one season. You had Eva, she only stayed for 2 seasons. Okay. You had Latoya. She only stayed for 1 season. You had Sanya. She only stayed for 2 seasons. You had let me see. What else is going on? What was I at? Marlo. She had a Peach for 2 years, for 2 seasons. And that was pretty much, I hope I didn't leave nobody out. I feel like I did, but I don't think so. Did I leave anybody out? Oh, Kim Fields. She was a 1 season wonder. Claudia Jordan. She was also a 1 season wonder. So when you got somebody like Drew who started in season 13 and then season 14, season 15, no, season 13, 14, 15, 16. This is her 5th season. So Drew absolutely has some staying power. So people don't like to give Drew her credit, but Drew has literally, literally been a peach holder for 5 seasons straight. And she has been carrying this show on her back for a long time. So people got to give her that. So, but I do always root for the underdog for the most part. And I do be feeling like Drew is the underdog. So that's partially why I be rooting for her for the most part. Portia. I started off liking Portia season 5, season 6, season 7. Around season 8 is when I started, kind of turning in the sense and seeing Portia for who she was. And by season 9, I was done with Portia. I could not stand Portia by season 9 because I feel like she has this bubbly personality and this likable personality, which is everything. And you need to have a likable personality when you're on a reality TV show. But I do be feeling like she uses that to her advantage. And I feel like she's a liar. And I don't think that she gets held accountable for anything. The closest I've ever seen her be held accountable for anything was last season when she kept on coming at Drew. But even then, I felt like people were still making excuses for her behavior for the most part. So that's possibly one of the reasons why I don't fuck with Portia. But I do know that at the beginning, I felt like she was also an underdog. And that was one of the reasons why I was rooting for her at the beginning. But I don't really have many qualms for Portia. I kind of laid off of Portia over the last few years, but I do see her for her works. So, yeah, that's all I really got on where I stand with Portia. Phaedra, she's a liar. She's a nutcase. She is a disturbing human being, and she act like a goddamn pervert half the time. And I think that she went from being like this Southern belle who was so Christian and all of this other stuff to a city girl all within a couple of years. And I just don't trust Phaedra. So I feel as though she's probably the one out of this foursome that I have up here that I don't like more than anybody. Like Phaedra is one person that I just don't like more than any of these ladies here. Because just only because I think that she's a liar. And Phaedra was also someone that I used to like. Like I stayed taking her for Phaedra. I think I didn't like her when she first came on, but around season 4, 5, 6, 7, I was basically taking up for her. It was like around season 7 or 8 where I started not really liking Phaedra like that. So since season 7-ish, 8-ish, I haven't liked Phaedra. So if you want to know where I stand with the women on this show, that is where I stand with the women that's on this cast right now. So I just wanted to make that be clear. So when I get into where I'm coming with this and where I'm going with this, you would definitely understand, because of the simple fact that I want it to be known that I'm not coming at this from a biased standpoint. That's not what I'm doing. So I just want that to also be clear. Okay? That's what I want. So since we're here, let's go ahead and get started. Now, we do know that K. Michelle came on this show, and there was a lot of pushback about her being on this show. And most of it comes from the fact that she used to be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So her being on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was already a strike against her from the very beginning. You feel what I'm saying? So they were already not really feeling her coming on this show anyway because of the show that she was previously on once before. So she came on this show. She was pretty much reserved. She really wasn't argumentative. She really wasn't getting into any of the mess that was going on with the rest of the cast, to the point to where there were people on social media that felt as though Kay thought that she was bigger than the program and better than the program, and thought that she was bigger than everybody on the show, and acting as if she didn't know how reality TV went. My thing is that I never understood why people were saying that, because I never felt like she thought that she was better than the program or bigger than the program. I just thought that she wanted to show that she could be a little bit different than what she was on Love and Hip Hop. And I felt like she was in her head a little bit too much. And honestly, I kind of felt her because before I started doing web reality TV, people were telling me that I wasn't a fit for web reality TV. Oh, Scotty, you're not a good fit for web reality TV. You're not this, you're not that. And sometimes when you hear that shit constantly, you start believing that shit. So for me, I started to believe that for myself, only for me to get on the scene ATL and become the vocal point of the whole show. However, when it came down to K. Michelle, she was letting that shit get in her head because K. Michelle is a sensitive Pisces. It's easy for things to get into her head and fuck with her psyche and fuck with her mental. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. Who is calling me? Hold on, y'all. I don't know who that was. That was clearly that was clearly some damn spam call. Thank God my phone was on silent, honey. But anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. So what I took from it was she didn't really know these women like that, and she came into the show observing and just trying to feel these women out, right? So one of the first things that happened was that K. Michelle didn't like the whole miscarriage comment from Portia. I think that was like around episode 3. And she felt some kind of way about that. And so that was one of the first things that people got upset with her about. Then we move past that, and then we go on into the whole notion of, we go to the whole black thing, and K. Michelle looked at Drew and said, I don't know that man. So that was one thing. And the next thing was we get to Dallas, and the oyster joke, and Kay was basically telling Drew why she was standoffish with her, and she felt like Drew was trying to pin a man on her when she's married, and they kind of got past that or whatever. But then the next morning she was on 10 because she had gotten some information about 3 women in the group plotting against her, and those 3 women were Portia, Phaedra, and Drew, right? So that's what people were saying. Like, people were saying that people were saying that it was what is it? People were telling her that it was Portia, Phaedra, and Drew. She didn't say anything about who it was, but she wound up going off on Drew about the black stuff. So then on this episode, this is where we get to where she pretty much broke down every little thing that went down. She broke down why she was having issues with Portia, how she saw how Portia pretty much came at Kelly, and how she felt like she was absolutely wrong for how she ran down on Kelly and all that other stuff. Like the first time I'm with you, you're sitting up here talking about how you want to get to know this person, and then the first thing you do is accuse them of fucking a married man. And that kind of threw me off. I understand that. Would have threw me off too. No lie. Then the oyster joke, like this vagina is clean and all that. And I saw how, Kay was looking at Portia when she made the comment. So Kay was basically saying that she had heard that these three women were going to dig up dirt, dig up information from the past and bring it up on the show to humiliate her. And one of those things that they were talking about was the whole her vagina had an odor, which was something that came from Mano, who is a bitch ass rapper from New York City who is now a podcaster. He was going around saying it, and then his partner, Uncle Murda, came out and said that came out and did a rap and was saying, I heard it from three, four niggas that came and share a coochie stain. Now let me tell y'all something. I ain't just saying this because it's K, but I'm just gonna tell y'all. I remember during that time that during that time that this was going on, like the whole rumor about her vagina and how it had an odor and all this other stuff. I actually met her again during that time. I didn't get a whiff of her vagina when I was around her. Like, I didn't get a whiff of that. She smelled like bubble gum and cotton candy to me when I was around her. So I didn't smell a vagina when I was around her. So that, that's how I felt about it. And I've been around women who, you know what I'm saying? But when I was around her, it didn't smell like no scent. She ain't had no scent to me. You feel what I'm saying? It smelled like cotton candy and and all that other shit. Like, she smelled really, really good when I was around her. So I don't know what was going on with that. But that's just my experience. Anytime I've been around Kay, it was never a scent. And I've been around some people with some sense. Okay. I don't speak on women's private parts. I'm just saying I ain't never smelled Kay when I was around her. But, and we know that was what she went off on Angela Yee about. So let's talk about that real quick. While her going off on Angela Yee was entertaining for the most part, I did feel like she let Charlamagne and DJ Envy off the hook when it was brought up. You feel what I'm saying? Because of the fact that Angela, to me, really didn't say nothing out the way. She brought it up, she did. But Charlamagne was laughing his ass off. DJ Envy was laughing his ass off. But you only gave the energy to Angela Yee. If you want to cuss her out, did somebody else call me? Who else called me? I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, if you want to cuss Angela Yee out, that's fine. But if you was gonna curse her out, in my opinion, you may as well curse out Charlamagne and DJ Envy, because they were the main ones laughing. And to be honest, as men, they never should have allowed that to even happen. You feel what I'm saying? Like, as much as people want to say what they be saying, what they have said about me, and oh, Scotty don't like women, or he disrespects black women all the time, all this other stuff. One thing about me, I am one person that 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 defends women all the time. Got my ass whooped trying to defend a woman. So that's just how far I go defending women. So my thing is, she allowed those men to sit there and laugh at at what happened, what was said about her, because I guess because she expected that from a man. But when you say you expect that from a man, that's not holding them accountable, and it's making you look like you're male identified. And I call women out for being male identified a lot. And sometimes the things that you allow men to get away with, you would never allow a woman to get away with the same thing. So if you're not going to hold these men accountable for being just as whack and fucked up and gushy to your ass, then you may as well let these women get by with some of that shit, because you'll be ready to slap a bitch for some of the shit that you let men get away with. Cuss their ass out the same way you cussing these women out. That's how I feel about it. As a 37-year-old man, that's how I see it. Because I felt like the smoke that you gave Angela, you should have gave that same smoke to the men. That's what I would have did. But we also have to be real. In your song on your Still No Fucks Given mixtape, you did, in your record, you did a remake of Yo Gotti's Fuck You. And you did say, Michelle from Straight From the Ass blog, I'm like, fuck you, smelling like a fish market. You said that about her in 2014, and then 2 years later, that's when Mano bitch ass came out and said the same thing about you. So it's kind of like one of those things where you said that about one woman, and then it turned right back around and it was said about you, and now you know how that lady feels because you said it about her, and now it came right back to you, and now you're getting the same backlash that lady got. So, and this is the reason why that lady don't like you. And I'm not the biggest fan, but I respect the grind and the hustle. I don't always agree with the things that Michelle Brown be saying on her lives and stuff like that. That's why I don't watch all the time, because I know I don't agree with half the shit she be saying. But I gotta make that be known when I say this. I do respect her grind and how she started, because when I used to do my reviews on Real Housewives of Atlanta during season 4 and shit like that, I used to get all my tea about the housewife from straightfromA.com all the time before she became a YouTuber. That's why I used to get my shit from. So I don't always agree with Michelle Brown, but I can't ignore that. You feel what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I can't ignore that. And again, love Kay, but you're traumatized by someone saying something to you that you said to somebody else. But that doesn't lessen your feelings about those situations that happen to you and all of those things. You feel what I'm saying? So let me see. You're giving Kay with the nasty attitude too much grace. I'm just saying. I don't know. And I'm not going to be on this thing yelling and screaming at no comments, but I kind of think that I'm holding her accountable. I think you'll feel better if I called her a bag of bitches and disrespected her to the T. I think that's what's wanted here, but I'm not going to get it. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it. Like, I could have sworn I was holding her accountable for the things that she's done. Did I not? And I don't want nobody to block this person either, because I know how my moderators can be. When they feel like somebody coming for me, they be ready to block them or whatever. But don't do that. But I'm just trying to understand what they're talking about. But anyway, so that's it. So then you bring that up, and then it's kind of like when it's kind of like this. For instance, when Kay said they were trying to bring up that particular rumor that traumatized her, they flashed it back to the oyster comment and said, this vagina is clean. So with that being said, it's kind of like this. If I'm hearing you say this vagina is clean in this oyster, and I'm already hearing that you're going to talk up, you're planning to bring up my vagina and what people said about it, you know what I mean? Then of course I'm going to think these bitches plotting on me. That's what I would have thought if I was her. That's exactly what I would have thought. However, it kind of gives me what I've always said about Kiana on Potomac. She be having a point, but the point never lands because she doesn't know how to really express it. Now, here's the thing. Let me highlight this comment. But why is K Michelle so quick to believe anything without applying any critical thinking? This ain't no excuse. What I'm about to say is not no excuse. I'm only going by, and a lot of times when I do my commentary comes from like personal experience or what's right and wrong or what I've actually seen with my own two eyes before. And that's where my opinions and stuff come from. When you already been traumatized by a group of women already, and you've been in these groups and you see how these women act and you see how they, go for you and go for everybody, put shit on blast, all that type of thing. And you already got this preconceived notion because let's be clear, y'all want to call her a fan, but we're all fans of the Housewives of Atlanta. I'm a fan of Chasing Atlanta, and I applied to do the show. It ain't no different. Just because we were fans of the shows, that don't necessarily mean that, that don't mean that we can't audition to be on these shows, want to be on these shows, trying to be on the show. Like we can't act like that. You feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? But I think when you already been going through, sometimes when you that defense, she's already defensive because of the things that she's already experienced being in these type of environments. So of course she's gonna believe it, but in the same breath, it was kind of like, you feel what I'm saying? In the same way, people want to act like she's a fan. She been reading up on the girls. The shit with Portia and Fallon was in the blogs. So that's just what it is. So that's how you get the information. So when they showed that flashback of Portia saying, now this vagina is clean, that'll set off alarms if I'm already been given the information that somebody trying to come for me. Like, it would have came up just like that. This bitch coming for me. This bitch talking about me. Blah, 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 blah. But it's a way to do it, though, at the same time. Like, you got to figure out a way to really address it. You can't just jump the gun. And I think that's what happened with K. Michelle was that the problem is she jumped the gun instead of really fact checking the situation first before she jumped the gun. And that's what making her look crazy because she didn't fact check this shit before she actually jumped the gun on said bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? I think that is where the problem lies, and that is where the problem stems from, is the fact that there was no fact checking. And just like you said, it could be PTSD, Dorian Hill. It could definitely be PTSD because I be having PTSD. Sometimes I don't know if somebody is joking with me or not, and I get on the defense. You feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is. No, don't call her names, but I don't think she thinks like you. She act like she has PTSD. Okay. She showed her hand too quick, in my opinion. She should have held on to that inside info. Maybe so. But the PTSD sometimes can take control. And I know that for me, sometimes our traumas, if they're not healed, can show up in certain ways. And then when you bring that up, as far as that's your trauma, it's going to look like you're using that trauma as an excuse and not trying to hold anything, not trying to take accountability for your actions. For me, I was bullied in school. So therefore, I'm always on the defense. I'm ready for war. If I think you coming for me, then bitch, I'm coming for you back. And then when I do that, it's sensitive. You're sensitive. You know what I mean? That you're sensitive. So, and that fires me up even more when you call me sensitive, due to the fact that I'm feeling like I'm defending myself. Especially when I feel like I'm not wrong in the incident. You feel what I'm saying? But it's kind of like I hate going back down this road, but it's kind of like most of you guys was up in here. Y'all know what happened on Thanksgiving night on that other platform. People call me sensitive about that, but I don't think I was sensitive. It was sneak dissing going on. A motherfucker was playing in my face and I cursed them out, rightfully so. But I'm sensitive because I responded to the disrespect. I'm gaslit into believing that I'm wrong for responding to certain things, or I'm responding the way that I did when this person has been sneak dissing for a minute now. But I'm wrong for responding in kind. So I understand that. I hate that sensitive word. It irks me when I hear somebody say that. It irks me because I'm not sensitive. Defensive, maybe, but sensitive, no. You feel what I'm saying? But I just want to say that because when we brought up the PTSD thing, right? So I came home from my Thanksgiving dinner and was ready to fight. Listen, okay. Let me see. Scotty, I also think that Kay was crushed when she found out about R. Kelly. This made up TV game show boyfriend was far-fetched. Let me see. The Aries in me will call Ish out when I see it. Her discernment and prior information triggered her, and she couldn't hold it, especially when she thought they were her girls. I love reading other people's thoughts and opinions. And if you were, ain't nothing wrong with that either. I'ma always say the cuss out was due. Y'all be killing me. Y'all felt like the cuss out was due that night because the people were really getting in my head, like making me feel like I was wrong. Like I really thought I was wrong the next morning. Like I didn't even go to work the next morning because I was just so, like, my adrenaline was up. I was so pissed off that night and that morning. And Bando was talking to me that morning, still trying to calm me down because I woke up still mad about what happened that night. I was still mad. And I had gotten on my Instagram live that night and flat out said I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Everybody got mad with me. Bitch, no, you was not wrong. Carl, everybody. They got in my ass about that because everybody told me I wasn't wrong. The only people that felt like I was wrong was the people over there. Those were the people that felt like I was wrong. Let me see. I was watching live. I was pissed. Oh my God, y'all. Y'all are killing me up in here. Nah, you held your own. That person took you to your limit. Absolutely. Yeah, that person has been subliminally coming at you for a while. I'm glad somebody else seen it. But anyway, so listen. I know we got all off track, but so this is where, so she brings it up in Dallas, and then not only did she bring it up in Dallas, and then she wound up getting into it with Drew in Dallas. So she waited till she got back to Atlanta to address Phaedra. Phaedra said she knew about the black stuff, but she didn't know about nothing else. Okay. But then she said that she ain't got nothing to do with it. She's not saying that there isn't a plot, but she ain't got nothing to do with it if it is one. That's what she was saying. So Kay let her off the hook. So when they came down to the table and she addressed Portia about it, and she said, and I felt like she addressed it very coherent. I feel like the way that she addressed Portia at the table was probably the way she should have addressed it when they was in Dallas. She probably should have just addressed it right then when they was in Dallas instead of waiting till they got to Atlanta to the point to where people are sick of hearing about it now. So if she would have just addressed it head on, then I think she would have got a different approach or a different outlook on it. But instead she waited and now it don't matter. You feel what I'm saying? Then she brought up the boyfriend. She said the last man that she had been with publicly was the dude on Queen's Court. Now, I didn't watch Queen's Court because I don't really care for like love competition shows. Like I grew out of that a long time ago. The last competition show about competing for a man's love or whatever that I looked at was Omarosa. And I don't even think y'all remember that show. But Omarosa had a show in 2010 on TV1 where these men was competing for her love. That was the last show that I watched like that. So I did not watch Queen's Court. Love K down, but I wasn't interested in Queen's Court. I just wasn't interested at all. But yeah, so she brought that up. And the thing is, I could see how Kay could feel plotted, right? But you're not explaining yourself correctly. So with the way you explain yourself is the way you're gonna get the energy back. No one's believing you at this point because of the way you put it out there. And it's just not, it don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And that's just what it is. It don't make sense. It just don't make sense at all, okay? And I want to be on your side in this situation, but I can't be because it's not landing and it don't make sense to me. And I can't just blindly, follow up behind you when I don't necessarily, agree with this situation. And it also doesn't make sense either if Portia was planning to, plot against you and bring up shit about personal hygiene to humiliate you, then why are you letting her and Phaedra off the hook so hard, but then you going in on Drew so hard? Kay ain't never been the type of person that picks her battles. She had no issue with going at Carly. She had no issue with going at Rashida. She had no issue with going at Lyrica. She had no issue with going at A1. She had no issue with going at none of these damn people. She had no issue going at any of these people at all. So for her to just pick Drew and not Portia, that makes me feel like, okay, what is this? Like, are you just picking one person, your target? Are you targeting somebody, to go at? Is that what you're doing? You feel what I'm saying? So absolutely not. Every week I feel bad for you though, Scotty. Why you feel bad for me? It doesn't make sense because she's trying to anticipate everything they could throw at her, so everything is applied. That goes right back to the PTSD of it all, and that's unhealed trauma. Reasons why I'm going to seek therapy. Y'all just might see that on the new season of The Scene, ATL. Okay, but anyway, let me see. And this is why I'm like, why you letting Faye off the hook? Because of a talk. You do realize that Phaedra is a lawyer, I'm sorry, and we get paid to lie sometimes. That is very true. Let me see. Because Kay is your girl and we want her. Yeah, she is my girl. And I feel as though when people come to my videos, they be already ready to call me out for being biased. Every time I get ready to do a live or get ready to talk about this show, the first thing they do, they bring their ass over here and they be ready to go in on me. You feel what I'm saying? But that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. And I ain't never not called Kay out, but I'm gonna always love Kay though. Like that ain't never changing. That ain't never changing. But she's out of line right now. The thing is, with Drew, her thing with Drew, I don't like that, and I don't like the fact that she's kind of she wants to break Drew down in a sense, like tell her up, like, you know, bitch, I got this going on. You ain't got that going on. I got this going on. You ain't got that going on. All this other stuff. Now, mind you, now, you don't want nobody. That was one of the things that you did not like for people to do to you. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel as though you don't like for nobody to break you down and try to take your accomplishments away from you. Because what you're doing to Drew right now, the people in the Twitter sphere is doing it to you now. They're making it seem they're taking away your accomplishments because you taking away from Drew. Now, mind you, Drew ain't had no career like no damn Gabrielle Union. She ain't had no career like no Vivica Fox, no Halle Berry. Drew ain't really had like no long. Drew ain't really had no big career as an actress like that. Like, yeah, she was on the game for 2 episodes. That's one of the things we do know from her. Yeah, she had guest spots here and there. Yeah, she played on the TLC movie. But her acting career really ain't been like nothing to scream about. And I've always said that. However, since she's been on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she has been able to get more opportunities based off of her being on that show, which there is nothing wrong with that, because that's what you're supposed to do when you have a platform. You're supposed to sell yourself, get things out, put your music out, be in these movies like you want to be, do all of that good stuff. So I will say that Drew's career has kind of made a turnaround due to her being on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But K. Michelle, one could say that you think you're better than Drew, but you didn't have no career. Your career ain't no Mary J. Blige career, and it ain't no Keisha Cole career either. Which I don't have a problem with it, because most of my favorite artists are not big artists. I don't really like the big artists, to be honest. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't really care for the big artists, you know? So my thing is, one could say the same about you. You think you bigger than Drew, but you not on Mary J. Blige Lover. You not on Keisha Cole. That's what people will say about you. But you've had 3 #1 R&B albums. You got platinum singles. You got a gold album. You got gold singles. You did have, people say you ain't had a hit in years, but you just had a #1 record in 2022 with Scooch. That was off your last album. So it's kind of like, both of y'all have had moderate success in y'all careers. So nobody's career is bigger than the other one. Yours is bigger than hers on the music tip. Hers is bigger than yours on the acting tip. Because just like she's trying to do music now, she just put out her first album last year. You're trying to do movies now, and she got more up on you and on the movie side than you have up on her on the music side. And that's just what it is. So nobody's bigger than the other one, and nobody's bigger than the program. We just got to be honest about that. And I can say that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Why is it so hard for you to admit that K. Michelle is possibly jealous of Drew? I didn't say nothing about her not being jealous of Drew, and I didn't say anything about her being jealous of Drew. I don't think she's jealous of Drew. I just think that she sees Drew as a lesser. And that's not good either. But why would she be jealous of Drew? Just saying. Let me see. What are y'all watching? I like all the ladies because I watch this show for the entertainment. However, even Ray Charles could see that Portia was doing what Portia was doing at that table with those oysters. Slightly elitist, but go off. Right. Let me see. Jealous of what? I like Drew, but that sounds completely weightless. Yeah, I'm just not the type of person to jump on the jealousy train. Like, oh my God, she's jealous of her. Like, no. I don't think she's jealous of Drew. She ain't got no reason to be jealous of Drew. She ain't got no reason to be jealous of Portia either. She ain't got no reason to be jealous of nobody on this cast. So it's not about being jealous. Now, would I say that there may be a tad of insecurity there, in a sense? It might be. It might be. Sometimes when you're in certain environments, there can be your insecurities can come out. You know, I know for me, I know when I first started coming into the gay world and being around a bunch of gay men, I was insecure because I wasn't completely comfortable. And I'm coming from a place where I could not be myself, or I was always judged for being me. You feel what I'm saying? So when I go into a group of people that I don't know and I'm trying to get to know them, I'm reserved because of the insecurities within me. So that is what it is. At least I can own up to my shit. Like, people can say whatever they want to say about me or whatever. Scotty is sensitive. He's insecure. Yeah, I have insecurities. I do. And that's just the truth of the matter. Let me see. But where am I at? Okay. Why would she see Drew as a lesser? Because she thinks she's better than Drew. That's it. I don't think so. These people clearly playing games. This some okay needs management, needs engagement, rage bait. East Oakland, baby, what is wrong with you and what are you talking about? And why are you yelling in the comments? What's wrong with you, girl? I'm just saying, why you yelling at the people in the comments, child? Why you yelling? Now, what else is going on? People was bringing up the fact that Drew said at the table that K Michelle doesn't fit in. Like she said, it's obvious that you don't fit in. It's obvious that you don't fit in. And there was some people that felt like, well, it gotta be a plot somewhere if she's up here telling her that she don't fit in. And I kind of get what they're saying when it comes down to that, because there has been a row they cried since she was announced for being on this show, was that she don't fit in, she this, she that. I don't think that she needs to be on this show. She was on Love and Hip Hop. Why is she here? Like, that has been the running trend for all this time, was that she don't fit in. Like, that's all that the people literally been saying since this show that came out, was that she don't fit in. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, the rain, child. So people were bringing that up and basically saying that she might be, there might be a plot if Drew was up here saying that she don't fit in. And who knew, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them probably felt as though coming across as, these women probably didn't feel like Kay fit in when they first found out she was going to be a part of this group. I'm sure. Let me see. Where we at? I just want Kay to give Portia the same energy that she gives Drew, because what she's accusing Portia of is a bigger offense. Boom. That's what I'm saying. I definitely agree with that. Where we at? The same people who treated her like she didn't fit in, right? Drew is saying that K Michelle doesn't fit in was kind of funny. I don't think it's evidence of a plot, though. Drew is just getting comfortable with the others. Let me see. Kay is looking at Drew singing, but that's not all there is to Drew. Just like Kay is trying to be more than a singer. Why couldn't they just bond? What's wrong with these singers? Too much competition and people don't want to work together. It's the same thing with YouTube, child. I thrive off let me see. But it's just like that with YouTube. I pride myself on collaborating and working with people and stuff like that. And y'all do know that I've worked with a lot of people. Like I work with Armand, I've worked with Storm. Tasha K wanted to work with me at one point in time. Like I work with a lot of people, but then there are some people that I attempted to work with that didn't want to work with me. They left me on red. And some of them are your faves, but I don't hold it against them though. It was some that I worked with before, and all of a sudden they didn't want to work with me. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? But it's sometimes people just don't want to work with others because they don't want them to get no shine. I don't know what's the point of it. It's like for me, I like to work with people who are in my realm. Like, it took me forever, but I worked with Rodney DeVoice many a times. I even hung out with Rodney before, and we had a time in Houston. Okay, so I fuck with Rodney. I got his phone number. I'm not saying that me and Rodney are like best buddies or friends or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? We always been cool though, and there's like a mutual respect there with Rodney. Even with Erica De Niro, we've worked together before too, and we've always had great interactions and shit like that. I've always loved Erica, and the thing is, I don't be in agreement with a lot of the things that Erica be saying, Rodney be saying. I don't be agreeing with them most of the time, but I still fuck with them and I like them. Same thing with Tammy Talks. Fucks with Tammy Talks down. I love me some Tammy Talks. We worked together multiple times. And I don't always agree with Tammy either, but in my humble opinion, I feel like if there's anybody out there that is unbiased for real, it's Tammy. I feel like Tammy Talks is probably the most unbiased reviewer out of all of us. And that's just me keeping in the book. And y'all can clip this and y'all can tell her what I said. But in my opinion, if y'all want somebody that is for real, unbiased, I feel like that's Tammy. Tammy Talks is the most unbiased YouTuber out there, in my opinion. Even more unbiased than me. She keeps it a book every time. Sometimes I don't even agree with her, and sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, I get your point. I might not agree with it, but I get your point. You feel what I'm saying? Let me see. Somebody said, DB said something. I want her to go ahead and ask her question. Where is it at? Yeah, Jamie is definitely unbiased. I always had a question about somebody you used to work with. Go ahead and ask me. Yes, I like Gabor too. I've worked with him before too on Mim's panel. We worked together before. So everybody's question is, was Kay targeted by the cast? I don't know. I'm not gonna say she was, and I'm not gonna say that she wasn't. We do know that in Housewives there are plots. There was a plot against Monique Samuels. Candace had talked about it many times before. There does be plots going on behind the scenes. It's happened many times on Housewives. People dig up information on people and they be ready to put it out there to put their ass on blast when they find that information. So that's what they do. But I don't know if she was targeted by anybody on this cast. I think it's just left in the air, but I just don't agree with the way that I don't what I was about to say, but the way that she's explaining herself and the way that it's coming across is not coming across the right way, and the way that people are feeling about her is kind of justified, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's kind of justified. It isn't far-fetched to me because Portia and Phaedra do be doing shit like that all the time. They do stuff like that, but we don't know. It's just coming across like it's made up. But I do remember reading on Media Takeout, which we all know they are not trustworthy at all. But they did say that there were women plotting to see if K. Michelle was really married. Now, I don't know if that's going to come up or not, but they did say that there was women on the cast that was plotting to see if Kay was really married, because she kept on talking about, I'm married this, I'm married that, I'm married this, I'm married that, and somebody took it upon themselves to go try to look her up and see if she was really married. That was on Media Takeout though, and I did talk about that months ago, but I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if that's going to come up on the show, so I don't know, but it's something. Let me see. I don't want to come off messy, but whatever happened to Live with Leah? I remember that. Who was wrong? Y'all did. I haven't talked to her in ages, but from what I've heard, she doesn't live stateside anymore. From what I've heard, she lives in I think it's somewhere in Asia. She lives. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. I haven't talked to her in God knows how long. It's been like maybe, I think last time I talked to her was like 3 years ago, maybe. But I think that she doesn't live, from what I heard, she don't live stateside no more. She lives overseas now. And that's a really good thing. I do know that there was a time that she wanted to live overseas and leave the States. So she was lucky enough to leave the States and go overseas, because whatever's going on over here, nobody wants to deal with none of this shit that's going on over here. So she probably did the best thing for her to leave and go overseas and stuff like that. But you know, from what I could see, she's doing well. And I always give her the credit to say that she was the reason for the Who Was Wrong stuff, because that was something that me and her was supposed to do together all the time. But you know, I think she was in school at the time, and I didn't want that idea to go to waste. So what I asked her to do was, I was like, hey, can I take the idea and can I just still include you in it, but also include other YouTubers in it? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. So I was just like, okay. So to be honest, she was the person that came up with Who Was Wrong, not me. She came up with it. But I think I always give her that all the time. So yeah, but from what I could see, she's doing well. But I haven't talked to her in God knows how long. But I'm glad she's doing well for herself though. So you weren't being messy when you asked me that, child. I thought you was gonna ask me about somebody else, because I still be getting that question about the other person that I used to work with, and God knows I'll be getting sick and tired of people asking me about that person. I'll be like, do y'all ask them? Child, if I could up and leave, I would. Listen, okay. But y'all. I think that is all I really got for this particular topic. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing lives for most of the day. I think I got one more live left in me though, so I don't know. But that's about it. But like I told you guys earlier, I gotta go right now. I really want to hit this 59K or whatever. I need 100. Somebody unsubscribed, I guess. But I'm like 104 subscribers away from 59K. So if you're new here and you're watching for the first time, go ahead, like and subscribe to my channel and all those different things, because we got a goal here. We're trying to hit 59K by June sometime. And after we hit that 59K, I want to hit 60 before the year's over with. So that's pretty much suggested it. So I'll be back. It's like what? It's like 4:37 now. So I'm finna go on get up off of here. I got another live to do and it's probably gonna be either Real Housewives of Atlanta related or LAMH related. It's going to be one or the other. But I'm giving you guys all of these videos because I didn't do shit yesterday. So it's me kind of catching up and trying to give y'all more content. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, this be your boy Scotty by Nature TV. Before I go, be sure to check out my friend Sammy and his t-shirt line called Shifted on Etsy. Make sure you guys go and pick that up and support him. Also, be sure to pick up my book, That's Why You're Lonely, which is now available on Kindle Books and Amazon. The sequel to That's Why You're Lonely is being worked on right now, and it should be released in September or October of this year. So make sure you guys go and pick it up. With that being said, you guys, your boys up out of here. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video, and also click on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a video drops. And if you want to follow me on any form of social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok will be down below. With that being said, you guys, your boys up out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.